You know, unfortunately, there's people out there, myself included, who when you tell them not to do something, they just want to do it even more. And I feel like the ladies from The View are similar. That's the only similarity I have with any of the ladies from The View. What's up? This is Mark Kaye Saves the Republic on this very exciting long Memorial Day weekend. We got some really exciting news about the long Memorial Day weekend, and we'll bring you all that here in just a minute. But hold on, why is that QR code? That QR code's not supposed to be up there yet. That's for a later date. We'll get to the QR code in just a minute. I'll let you know what the QR code's all about here in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Do people still say that? I don't know. That may be dated. We need to figure out some new phraseology other than 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But we've got a lot going on. First of all, couple big announcements before we get to the story about The View getting yelled at by their bosses because they're horrible people. Before we get to The View getting called out for bashing Trump by their bosses, we'll get to that story here in just a minute because it's one of my favorites. I do want to remind you that it is Memorial Day weekend, but because I'm independent and because I work literally steps from my bedroom, if you walked out the door and took a right, don't do that because I think my wife's in there and you'll freak her out. You'd be in my bedroom. So because I'm at Mar-a-Lago, diligently at K-Treat HQ inside of beautiful Mar-a-Lago in illustrious downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Because of that, I'm going to be working Memorial Day. We're going to be doing all kinds of fantastic. I'm waking up early. I'm already going to be a guest on the Wake Up America program on Newsmax with Mark Lauder and Charla, which is going to be very exciting. And then, of course, we've got the 47 Daily, which never stops. 47 Daily is going to keep going no matter what, through snow and ice and sleet and dark of night. Well, not really dark of night because it's more like a morning thing. So bright sun, I guess, is the thing. And then Mark Kaye Saves the Republic will be doing that live as well. So don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Memorial Day is going to be a fun-filled Mark Kaye-filled day. So if you're home, if you're off of work, whatever, and maybe you never get to catch the entire show for whatever reason, maybe your boss yells at you and says, turn that crap down, will you? Then you won't have to deal with it because if you're off, you can sit poolside. You can just crank up. Oh, you know what? I never showed you. I ordered, you guys may not remember this, but I think I showed you, where did I put it? I showed you, hang on. You remember when I bought the 2028 Trump 2028 hat? I bought the when Trump 2028's hat, when the hat here, you know what? Let me go grab it. Wait here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk over here, grab the hat. Yeah. So when Donald Trump was being the Uber troll that he was, and he started talking about, running in 2028, he started these hats. He sold these hats, Trump 2020. It's a really nice hat. It's a big hat. Big lettering, big numbering, whatever. Put them on his store. Eric Trump had a picture of it that he was wearing the hat on the internet. And so I was like, well, that's going to be a collector's item for sure. Let me go buy one because I got a lot of Trump. I got a lot of hats in general, but my hat collection just keeps. I got the 47 hat, Make America Great Again, USA, 47, 45. There's so many Trump hats. But at checkout, and this is what they do. It's called upselling. And at checkout, what happened was they said, your Trump 2028 hat is on the way. Would you also like a Donald Trump wireless Bluetooth speaker? And I thought to myself, would I like a Donald Trump Bluetooth wireless speaker? And, and for a minute there, I was like, no, I absolutely do not need one of those things. But then I also didn't really need the Trump 2028 hat. So it wasn't. So I've already exited the need portion of the program, and I've entered into the want. So then I thought to myself, well, do I want a Trump wireless Bluetooth speaker? And on top of offering me with like a one-click, it was just a one-click purchase. That's the other thing. I didn't have to like refill any information, put in my credit card anymore. It was just a one-click. On top of that, they offered me a discount of like 15% off. And then I thought it would actually be irresponsible of me to not get the Donald Trump wireless Bluetooth speaker because it's so easy to purchase and it's also at a discount. So I got one of those as well. And it's in the box. I totally forgot I had this. So I guess I didn't really need it. But back to my point, you can grab, if you have like a little wireless Bluetooth speaker of your own, what you can do is you can just grab your little wireless Bluetooth speaker, whether it's a Trump Bluetooth speaker or not. I don't even know. Oh, geez, there's lots of, there's cables and cords and whatnot. But I don't know what kind of Bluetooth speaker you have. But look, I've got this little Here it is. It's a tiny little Bluetooth. I wonder if it works. I'm gonna try to hook it up and see if it works. All right, it looks like it's trying to discover something. So we're gonna bear with me. This is all to prove a point, by the way, about Memorial Day. And so anyway, so if you have a little Bluetooth speaker or whatever you have, what you can do is you can take it by the pool. You can take it with you to the, Biddy Boomer. Is that what this is? I guess you can take it with you poolside. You can take it with you to, hey, I think it worked. Let me see if it's working. Let's go to YouTube. Let's play my own show and see what happens. I'll put it right here. But anyway, you can take your little Bluetooth speaker. You can take Mark Kaye on the road on Memorial Day. You can take it to your party. Whatever you have. Look at this. You can take it by the pool. You can take it with you to the. Biddy Boomer. Is that what this is? I guess. Look at this. You can take it with you poolside. You can take it with you to. Donald Trump is right now. I think it worked. This is amazing. Let me see if it's working. Let's go to. All right, that sounds really. Okay, good. So I have a little Donald Trump wireless Bluetooth speaker that I can use. I'm going to use that this Memorial Day, and I'm going to set it by the pool, and then I'm just going to broadcast. I'm just going to link it to this show, so whoever happens to wander by my pool on Memorial Day will also not only get to enjoy a little a dip in the pool on what's going to be a beautiful day weather-wise, but also they'll be able to enjoy Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. Hey, listen, if you do enjoy Mark Kaye Saves the Republic and you want to listen to it constantly on your Bluetooth speaker, whether it's a Donald Trump Bluetooth speaker or whether it's any Bose, I don't know what you got going on there, but make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook, on your podcast platform of choice. Whatever podcast platform you want to listen to, make sure you're telling them, I want Mark Kaye Saves the Republic every single day. I want it pumping out of my Donald Trump Biddy Boomer Bluetooth speaker, so that I'm never too far away from the truth, from the lack of propaganda. I'm never too far away from somebody who's going to tell me exactly who my enemies are, how they're trying to attack me, and most importantly, how I can fight back. Because that's what we do here. We fight, fight, fight. Also, since it's Friday and it's a long weekend, if you've never sent us a super chat, today would be a great day. We're taking super chats and Rumble rants, and we're doing it for a couple reasons. Number one, that's how the show gets made. That's how we're able to continue to do this every single day. To turn this into a career, it takes a little bit of support, and we have some advertiser support. We have some sponsors, and then of course we have all the Catriots who continually love to share their I don't want to say wealth, but share their good fortune with us so we can continue to bring you the show. And if you're one of those people, we'll read your message too. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, hey, people are like, hey, Mark, love your show. Thanks so much. I go, great. I appreciate it. But if you wanted to put up there, hey, Mark, I have an Etsy store. Here's the URL. I'll flash that up on the screen. It's only going to cost you like a $5. But my VA lady would do that. This is one of her secrets. She would send me Rumble rants or super chats or both. I don't know what it was, because she knew that I would read them, and it would say. She'd say something like, hey, Mark, if anyone in your audience is looking for a virtual assistant, have them hit me up, my VA lady. And because it was a $5 Rumble rant or whatever it was, I put her on the screen and I read it. And man, people started hitting up D. So that's another, it's a smart way to use. That way you're supporting the show and getting something in return. It's really fantastic. And I shout out D. I probably shouldn't have shouted her out because it's a freebie, D. You got a free one. Anyway, which brings me back, by the way, to the well, you know what? We'll get to that in just a minute. Let's get to the news, shall we? Here we go. Today, the Daily Beast reporting that Disney's CEO told hosts of The View. This is really, I love this story. Disney CEO told hosts of The View to tone down Trump bashing. Multiple sources shared details with the Daily Beast about a meeting in which the ABC News president delivered a message that left the co-hosts unnerved. Now, every single member of this panel hates President Donald Trump. Whoopi Goldberg hates Donald Trump. Joy Behar hates Donald Trump. Ana Navarro despises Donald Trump. Even the nice one, Sarah Haynes is her name. Even that she's like the pretty nice one who's never really too uppity or obnoxious, but she hates Donald Trump, and it comes through. Sunny Hostin, Sunny Hostile, we call her. She's just, not only does she hate Donald Trump, but man, is she ever, she's so patronizing. I can't even stand it. And then Sarah, what's her name? Farrah Griffin or whatever, or Farrah, Alyssa Farrah Griffin, who at one point worked at the White House, at one point worked for Donald Trump, used that piece of information solely to get her job, solely to get her foot in the door, because they knew they were looking for, when Meghan McCain left, they're like, we need a new Republican, and there aren't any that would ever work on The View. But Alyssa Farrah Griffin, since she worked in the White House, she said, hey, I worked for Donald Trump. I'll pretend to be a Republican, and then I'll just come on the news, and I'll come on the show and I'll bash him like the rest of you guys do. And so she fit in perfectly. Anyway, Disney and ABC News have asked the hosts of The View to tone down their political rhetoric, multiple sources told the Daily Beast. Since President Donald Trump's election in 2024, the panel of co-hosts on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, Anna Navarro, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farrah Griffin, have constantly and consistently criticized Trump administration officials and policies. But its constant focus on Trump and politics seems to have roiled the network's top bosses, including Disney CEO Bob Iger and ABC News President Alman Karamedovic. I don't know. I think that's him right there on the top of the Empire State Building, apparently. That's it. I don't know what he's doing with it there. Karamedovic convened a meeting with The View's executive producer, Brian Tita, and its hosts, and suggested the panel needed to broaden its conversations beyond its predominant focus on politics. Two sources familiar with the meeting said Karamedovic, I think that's right, Karamedovic highlighted episodes with celebrity guests that he said were highly rated, one source said, and encouraged them to lean into such coverage moving forward. The move was not framed as an edict, one source said, but the suggestion alone rankled the hosts. The group pushed back forcefully, with hosts like Navarro noting the show's audience routinely seeks out its perspectives on politics, especially when the administration's radical attempt to upend the government can potentially affect their daily lives. So this is the argument. The head of Disney, which, I mean, look, Disney's had their own problems with. Let's not even get started with Disney. But we will. Disney had problem with the Buzz Lightyear movie, which they thought was going to be a massive success it was a spinoff of their highly, highly popular and successful and lucrative Toy Story franchise. The beloved Toy Story franchise. They decided to create an entire origin story around Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger to infinity and beyond. And what did they do? They put in a lesbian kiss, because that's what kids want. They want animated cartoons about their favorite space rangers and the lesbian couples that they hang out with. That's right up the alley of every single, that's what every parent wants. Then they were like, well, you know, what else can we do? They made horrible movie after horrible movie. They put in woke narratives after woke narratives. Then finally they came up with this Snow White one, which, holy cow, you want to talk about a flop. Not only was the story still woke, but the actress who portrayed her was the worst. She ran her mouth off about this, that, and the other, and gender equality and Donald Trump, and ostracized like half of America, to the point where they knew the thing was going to be a flop before they even, before the first hi-ho, they knew that this thing was not going to make any more money. They knew it was going to be a bomb. It was like, hi-ho, how low can we go? And it's exactly what happened. So now I imagine they're looking around at all of their properties and they're going, look, we need to make sure that we're out of the woke business. We want to make sure that we're making money. And The View is the worst. So he goes in there and he says Bob Iger and this guy Karamedovic says, hey, listen, you had two shows that were really highly rated. They were about celebrities and entertainment, and we want you to do more of that and lay off the politics. And what did the hosts of The View do? They say no. They say, are you out of your mind, guy who runs a major network? What do you know? Our audience routinely seeks our perspectives on politics. Our audience routinely seeks out our opinions, especially when Donald Trump's administration tries to upend the government. They come running to us. Let me tell you this. If you are afraid that Donald Trump is upending the government. And the first place you think to go for information is The View. It's about over. It's about over. it's about. Jim Rohn used to say, we got to come get your family and bring them to safety. Let us know if The View is where you go when the government's being upended, when you have no other place, when you're concerned that the government's overtaking your civil and your humanitarian rights, when you're afraid that there's an evil dictator in office, when you don't know where to turn for news, and you immediately pop on ABC at 11 a.m. to hear the opinions of Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Anna Navarro, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. Call up. We're going to come get your family. We're going to take them to safety. We're going to make sure that you are not in a position to hurt anybody. One source familiar with the meeting characterized the hosts as telling their boss, this is what our audience wants. Isn't it going to look kind of bad if we're all of a sudden not talking about politics? Ultimately, the women found these requests silly and that they were just going to keep doing their thing. Still, the conversation continued to stay at top of mind for at least one of the co-hosts during Disney's upfront presentation day to advertisers last week, an annual glitzy gathering where media companies seek to woo brands to advertise with their shows. Navarro had a direct conversation with Iger. According to multiple sources, Navarro thanked Iger for allowing the hosts to continue doing their jobs in a politically turbulent environment. The sources said, Iger confirmed he supported the show, but he also reaffirmed that the show needed to tone down its political rhetoric. So Anna Navarro goes to Bob Iger, who runs the entire company. Like, Disney is the top, right? So Bob Iger's at the top, and then it's Disney and ABC and all the other ESPN, all the other crap. But he's like the main guy. He's the president of everything. And she walks up to him and says, hey, thanks for letting us ignore your orders. And he goes, by the way, don't ignore my orders. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. Let me take a sip of my coffee real quick. This is going to take some energy. Excuse me. I am slightly, I'm not talking to you here. I am slightly sympathetic to the ladies on The View. I know. I am slightly sympathetic to the ladies on The View because I myself was a talk show host. I worked for a multi-million-dollar corporation. I had bosses and producers and executive producers and program directors and consultants, and didn't one of them know what the hell they were talking about. And they would come to me with dumb suggestions, like the most idiotic suggestions you've ever heard. For example, every now and then I would play music. It was called bed music, right? Like if you ever heard our show and we played here, I'll just give an example. Oh, this is the national anthem. But for example, I'd play some music underneath and I'd talk about, maybe I have something better. Okay, well, this, for example, is the title of the show, but it's bed music, right? And one day I literally was in a conversation with the consultants and they said, your show's doing great. The ratings are good. We love your content. There's this one music bed you play that we don't really like. It's a little slow. And I said, huh? And they go, there's this one music bed you like. It's a little slow. And I go, what about it? And they go, well, we don't want you to play it anymore. And I would only play it when I was trying to make it was a character on the show, right? They didn't understand it. But I walked away thinking, if the only thing these people are complaining about is the music bed, then I'm doing something right. I too, by the way, in the middle of the elections, in the middle of the 2020 election, I too had the conversation with our consultants and our bosses, who, again, idiots, all of them, never once hosted a show as popular and as well liked as ours. But they sat in a room with me and my staff and they said, you need to probably talk a little bit less about Donald Trump. And I said, why is that? And they go, well, because you talk about him a lot. And I said, 90% of my show is phone calls and people call in and that's what they want to talk about. I can't just say I'm not taking your phone call because, I also talk about the Democrat. We talk about Joe Biden a lot too. So I understand how you can sit and think, hey, this person doesn't get the audience. Hey, this person doesn't understand our show. This person doesn't understand what we do. However, The View at one point was not a political talk show. It was an entertainment-based show. And they had entertainers on and celebrities on, and they talked about movies, and they talked about things going on in your life, and they talked about other stuff. And the ratings apparently seemed to do fairly well when they did that. So it is kind of interesting it is kind of interesting to see where they're going to go with this. And again, look, I also give them props for standing their ground, for listening to somebody and saying, I appreciate what you're saying, but you're dead wrong. Even though I think they're wrong, I appreciate. Also, I don't want them to stop talking about President Donald Trump because I get a lot of content. I get a ton of content from them. ABC News did not comment, and a Disney spokesperson did not respond to a request for comment. Navarro did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Another source familiar with the matter said ABC will constantly have conversations with talent based on viewer feedback, and this instance was no different, suggesting the show's viewers have indicated that they want the show to be less political. If you watch The View and you want it to be less political, write to them and they'll have another meeting. Otherwise, if you like The View and you look to them for political commentary, again, give us a call. We will We will be able to come get your family and your kids and take them to safety. Hey, listen, we're already getting some super chats in. This is fantastic. I want to just give some shout outs real quick to Julie Corwin. Julie Corwin dropping a $20 super chat. Julie, thank you so much for your a generous support of the show. Love you, Mark. Thanks for all you do. Julie from Cincinnati. Go Bengals. Go Bengals. No, we appreciate that. I love Cincinnati. I always, for whatever reason, whenever I would go to Dayton, Ohio, which was often, I would fly into Cincinnati. And it wasn't until like my third trip that somebody said, why don't you just fly into Dayton? And I said, I don't think there's any direct flights. And they go, sure there are. I do it all the time. Lo and behold, there were direct flights to Dayton. I just ended up going to Cincinnati. But it was great because it gave me an opportunity to get some of the Cincinnati-style spaghetti with the chili and the onions and the cheese on top of it. Anyway, thank you so much. Leo Stadino dropped a $5 super chat and said, Mark, you are the best show. Oh, well, thank you, Leo Stadino. I appreciate that very much. We agree on that. We agree. You and I have a lot in common because I feel the same way. And I thank you so much for your generous contribution. The only reason this is the best show is because it has the best viewers and it has the best listeners and it has the best support from the best Patriots any guy could ever want. TNC Gaming wrote, our mom loves your show. TNC Gaming, thank you. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. That reminds me of whenever I go to a TP USA event, this is inevitably what happens. And again, thank you so much for that super chat. So TP USA is a fantastic organization run by Charlie Kirk, and they go to college campuses all over. They have chapters all over, and they have big events every single year. And TP USA brings in tens of thousands of college-age kids, but not just regular college-age kids, conservative, Christian, well-mannered, well-dressed, smart, intelligent, ambitious, politically active kids who understand history and the Constitution and civics and love America. It's a really great place to be. And I went a couple years ago in Tampa. They invited me to broadcast from the TP USA event in Tampa. And so I went, I set up my booth, and Hannah was there. And we were broadcasting. We talked to Lauren Boebert. We talked to Marjorie Taylor Greene. There were a bunch of people that came by. It was a lot of fun. And I'm sitting there at the table once, and this kid runs up to me. He's like 20. He's like maybe 20 years old, maybe 18. And he runs up to me. He's in a nice suit. He goes, excuse me, you're Mark Kaye? And I said, I am Mark Kaye. And he goes, would you talk to my mom? She loves your show. And I was like, sure, no problem. So I got on the phone with his mom and we talked because, again, some shows are for the younger generation. Some kids are for their parents. Mine apparently is for their parents. I would hand out stickers, all that kind of stuff. And, kids would come up and be like, can I get a sticker for my dad? He listens to you in his truck every single day. So it was a lot of fun. You know what I'm finding out now? Now that we're off of the radio, which is basically not the medium for the next generation or even really the current generation. Now that we're just digital, now that we have the 2 podcasts every single day, now that we're on Facebook and YouTube, especially, and TikTok and all these other places and Rumble, now that we're doing all of this digital stuff, our audience is getting progressively younger. We still have a lot of our old radio audience, but we do get a lot of younger people as well. This is Lydia Angel 17 on Rumble. She dropped a $10 Rumble rant and said, love your show. I listen every day from the UPS hub in Jacksonville, Florida, posted while on break. That's good. That's in case her boss is watching. Lydia's smart because she said, hey, Mark, I watch every single day from the UPS hub. I want my boss to know that I posted this on my break, so don't come at me. Linda Angel 7, thank you so much. And I should let you know that we use UPS. The UPS guy is at my house regularly with various different packages that somebody in my house has purchased. Usually not me, but I'm not going to I'm not going to call anybody out. All right, let's get to Maha, shall we? Oh, you know what? Let's get to Caroline Leavitt first. We played this yesterday, but I want to get back to it again because Caroline Leavitt could be one of the best hires that Donald Trump has made. I don't know who is the best. I mean, it's really tough. When you look at President Donald Trump's cabinet, he has done something that is truly incredible. What Donald Trump has done is he knows that his skill is hiring the best people, giving them tasks, and then letting them go do it. And he and Elon Musk work very quickly. They work very similarly. And that's, I think, why they got along so well. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they both have this trait of accelerating timelines. And what they do is they go out and they say, okay, who's going to be the best at this? And they find that person. They go, here's the goal. Here's the timeline. Go do it. And then they keep checking back in. They have these cabinet meetings. They call them up on the phone. They say, hey, how's it going? Hey, what are we doing? Hey, where are we up at? And that's why things get done so quickly. Elon Musk is the same exact way. The reason he's been able to create rockets that go into space and come back, create AI, buy Twitter, dig holes under the ground, do all of the Elon Musky things that Elon Musk has been doing. The reason he's been able to do all that is because he accelerates timelines. He hires really good people. He gives them aggressive deadlines. And then he just keeps checking back saying, how we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? And that is really where you get the key to success. And Donald Trump is no different. If you look at everything that Donald Trump has done, every person he's put into place, whether you knew who they were or not, they've really, I think, exceeded expectations. And I can point to Caroline Leavitt. I can point to Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, a star, a superstar. That guy is probably the best Secretary of State we've had in a very long time. And I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, anybody's better than Tony Blinken. Anybody's better than Hillary Clinton. It's true. But he's really exceeded, I think, everyone's expectation, except for Chris Van Hollen, who regrets his vote. But Chris Van Hollen also likes to go on mandates with gang members in El Salvador. So if Chris Van Hollen regrets voting for you, as Marco Rubio would say, that's a sign that he's doing his job the right way. But then there's so many others. Doug Burgum is a fantastic Interior Secretary. Chris Wright is an amazing Energy Secretary. Chris Wright, you don't see or hear from a lot, but when you do, he's coming out to say, hey guys, guess what? We're doing amazing. And then he'd run off. The guy's, the fact that he's so full of energy, which is great because he's literally the Secretary of Energy. But he's out there drilling. He's out there getting nuclear energy done. He's out there, selling natural gas to all of the people that need to buy it. It's really incredible. Scott Bessent is just an amazing Treasury Secretary. Howard Lutnick with Commerce, and they all work so well together. Then you throw in there the Stephen Millers and everything else, and it's really just amazing. But Caroline Leavitt, she's fantastic because she comes out yesterday and she, first of all, talks about the big, beautiful bill, which passed the House of Representatives by one vote because a couple guys voted against it and one other guy was sleeping. We won't get back into that.
Last night, Republicans in the House passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the most significant piece of legislation in years. There were a lot of good faith negotiations in the Republican conference leading up to the final passage, but as always, President Trump came in at the end to bring all sides together and get this deal done. This One Big Beautiful Bill will implement President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda by delivering the largest tax cut in American history for middle-class families, the working class, and small businesses. The One Big Beautiful Bill fulfills President Trump's promises of no tax on tips, which was applauded today by the CEO of Uber, no tax on overtime, a Made in America auto tax break, Trump savings accounts for newborn babies, and substantial tax cuts for our amazing seniors' Social Security benefits. The One Big Beautiful Bill will permanently secure the border by delivering the largest border security investment in history, funding at least 1 million annual removals of illegal aliens to carry out the largest deportation campaign ever, finishing the Trump border wall, and giving pay raises and bonuses for our incredible ICE and Border Patrol agents. The One Big Beautiful Bill protects the Medicaid program and its benefits for the most vulnerable Americans that the program was designed for by kicking off 1.4 million illegal aliens from receiving benefits and implementing common sense work requirements for able-bodied Americans. The One Big Beautiful Bill also helps get our fiscal house in order by carrying out the largest deficit reduction in nearly 30 years with $1.6 trillion in mandatory savings. Every single Democrat in the House of Representatives who voted against all of these common sense and massively popular policies. The Democrat Party has never been more radical and out of touch with the needs of the American people. The One Big Beautiful Bill is the final missing piece toward ushering the golden age of America. The Senate should pass this as quickly as possible and send it to President Trump's desk for a final signature.
I would like it to not go unnoticed. And I think that nobody has stressed this enough, but I really want to bring attention to this. I really think we need to pause for a moment and celebrate the fact that this bill is literally called the One Big Beautiful Bill. Like, that's the actual legitimate name of it. And Caroline Levitt there, she reads it off like it's a news report. I mean, Donald Trump, you know, in his Donald Trumpian way with his personality, some people call it meandering, other people call it flair, whatever it is. He goes, I want one bill, one big, beautiful bill. And that's what and then all of a sudden, boom, that's what it was called. It's like one big, beautiful bill. It's like when you give somebody a nickname in college, you know, somebody calls you like Sausage Fest. Like, what's up, Sausage Fest? And then all of a sudden that's your name forever. That wasn't my name. I'm just saying that's how some people get their nicknames. But so Donald Trump goes, hey, well, we need one big, beautiful bill. And he puts it on True Social, one big, beautiful bill. And then all of a sudden it's literally, if you go to the congressional record, the bill is called the One Big, Beautiful Bill. And Mike Johnson's like, all right, next up on the docket, passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, blah, blah, blah. And then Caroline Levitt's like, we'd like to congratulate the House of Representatives for voting and passing the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now the One Big Beautiful Bill goes to the Senate. It's like they're saying HR 2918 or whatever it is, just a whole, it's really, that to me is something that we don't appreciate enough. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's a great bill and it's going to reduce taxes and it's going to make America great again, or whether you think it's just going to increase the deficit and blow out our spending and make America poor, whatever you think about it, you have to appreciate the fact that Donald Trump just spitballed this big, beautiful bill name, and it actually became the thing. That's one of the things I admire most about this administration. And it's not just that, it's MAGA. Donald Trump, this is the thing too, because look, I've been investigating running for office and what it takes to create a platform. And somebody said to Donald Trump, you're running for president? He goes, yes. And he goes, what's your platform? He goes, we're going to make America great again. And now look at that. Make MAGA. He didn't even know. I don't think Donald Trump knew it spelled out MAGA, but man, that was serendipitous, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure Donald Trump said, we're going to make America great again. And then somebody said MAGA, and Donald Trump goes, even better. Copyright that. And so now we've got MAGA. And it's so easy because you make America great again, and then you just take out make America wealthy again, MAWA. Make America strong again, MASA. Make America rich again, MARA. And then, of course, make America healthy again, which is MAHA, which is what the big announcement was yesterday at the White House, MAHA.
After today's briefing, President Trump will hold a Make America Healthy Again event alongside Secretary Kennedy and several other cabinet secretaries to unveil the MAHA Commission report. President Trump wants every child in America to grow up and to live a long and healthy life. That's why he's working alongside Secretary Kennedy to end the chronic disease epidemic to keep our children healthy, safe, and disease-free. The MAHA Commission report is a historic assessment, the first of its kind by any presidential administration, of current evidence and research about the health crisis affecting America's children. This report is a review of pre-existing research to comprehensively assess what we understand about our health problems and what we don't understand, and how we can find those answers. All of the findings will be based on the gold standard of science. And I think I speak for all MAHA moms across the country when I say we look forward to the president's event and remarks later this afternoon.
MAHA moms. All right, that's like a thing. That's like you're a MAHA mom, and MAHA is a big deal, and MAHA is incredible. This is another incredible thing, and I talked all about that. We went into the substance of MAHA earlier today on the 47 Daily podcast. If you didn't listen to the 47 Daily podcast, I like 20 minutes. I didn't even cover another story. Typically, it's like 3 or 4 stories. It was all MAHA this morning because that was the big That was the big deal. But if you're a Maha mom, or if you're into Maha, or if you understand the importance of what RFK Jr. is doing as the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, then you get it and you understand it. If you don't, go listen to the 47 Daily. But I want it from a political standpoint. I want to explain to you just how amazing this is. President Donald Trump, who was going to divide the nation. President Donald Trump, who's a xenophobe and a homophobe and a transphobe and a racist and a white supremacist and a misogynist and hates Muslims. Donald Trump, he's going to destroy the fabric of America, and he's going to create another civil war and another world war. We're going to have a civil World War III. That was the prediction all along. Donald Trump did the opposite. Donald Trump reached across the aisle. Donald Trump grabbed RFK Jr., a Democrat, not just a Democrat. I mean, it's not like he just was like, hey, you're a Democrat, but I like you. Come on over here. He's like the most famous Democrat from the most famous Democrat family ever. If you think to yourself, what's the number one top Democrat family in history? It's not the Clintons. They'd like to be. It's not. It's not the Obamas. They'd like to be too. It's the Kennedys. It's the Kennedys. I mean, all of them, every single member of that family was politically active, was politically motivated, we won't get into the corruption. But anyway, the Kennedys, that's it. He went and got the most Democrat person he could find, and he pulled him into his Republican administration. And together they did what no other administration was able to do. They brought together two different sides, an entire cabinet, and they put out a report saying, here's what we need to do to make America healthy again. And you know what's happening? America is becoming healthy again. And you know what's happening? Corporations, without any kind of threat from the government, without any kind of adversarial contact from the White House, they're just doing stuff. RFK Jr. was talking to Caitlin Collins, who just doesn't get it. She gets nothing. This woman, I don't know how she's on the news. She doesn't understand a gosh darn thing. And he's trying to explain it to her, passionately explain to her. You don't get it, lady. Pay attention to what's happening.
And you're watching companies now that are changing their ingredients because of this movement, that are making good food more available to Americans because they're demanding it. There was no demand for it before. This report is about getting every American to demand the accessibility to good whole food in their neighborhoods. And that, it's going to be a process, but it's already happening. You see these big fast food conglomerates that are switching from seed oils to beef tallow fat. You see them reducing the ingredients. You see Chobani yogurt changing its ingredients because of the demand that has happened because of the Maha movement. We are going to make sure they have apps that mothers who go into the grocery store have an app that they can send a flash on the barcode of every product and get a green light, red light, or yellow light. That will allow them
HHS is creating that?
We're working with industry to do it, and they're already doing it. Mark Hyman's company has done it. Patrick Sonsingh's company has done it. There are many, many apps out there that I use one called Yucca. That is my wife and I consider it invaluable. You can go into any grocery store, flash it at any product, and you can get a go or a no on it. And as that happens, the market, we're not trying to create an anti-state here. We're trying to drive market forces that will drive change in the kind of food Americans get.
This is incredible. This is how things are done. This is what the government should be doing. Instead of mandating, instead of creating a nanny state, instead of punishing corporations or threatening them the way Joe Biden did, they're saying, look, there's public demand for you to change. There's public demand for you to get, look, I still have them. There's public demand for you, Frito-Lay, to get those red dyes out of your Cheetos, flaming hot and crunchies, which I should probably, I've had this food down here for like 3 weeks. I don't know. My wife's like, how long are you keeping that food down there? I go, I don't know. It might come in handy if there's a hurricane. And then, of course, she goes, even if there's a hurricane, I'm not eating that crap. But anyway, there's public demand. Maha moms are out there saying, we don't want these food dyes in our products. We're not going to buy them anymore. They're downloading apps. People, and I've seen them at the store. And I always thought they were like restocking shelves or something. But what they do is they get the app and they go, all right, let me scan these flaming hot Cheetos real quick, which I'm going to be honest with you, you don't even need to scan the Cheetos. You know it's a no. But you scan the UPC or the barcode, and then the app goes, boop. No, do not buy this at any cost. Or it goes, bing. This is good for you to buy. Or if it's super healthy, like if it's a bag of carrots or something, they give you this. Like that's a party. That's a party for your body right there. Well, that sounded weirder. That sounded weird. Anyway, but think about that. Think about what that does to companies. If you know that the government is telling the Department of Health and Human Services is saying, download this app, take it to the grocery store, scan the food. The first thing you're going to do, if you're smart, if you're the CEO of a food brand, you're going to go to the company, you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to scan your UPC symbols, and you're going to see if you get one of these, or one of these, or one of these. And if you're scanning your products and it's like, oh wait, then you're going to go back and you're going to pull those dyes and you're going to pull those artificial ingredients and you're going to pull that high fructose corn syrup. You're going to pull all that stuff off and you're going to go back and say, we made the adjustments. We listened to what people were saying. We listened to the Maha Moms. We listened to RFK Jr. We know that we don't want to be part of the problem. We would like to be part of the solution. And then you're going to go back and you're going to try again until you get this. And if you know that there's consumer demand for your products to be healthier, you will make healthier products. And that's what Donald Trump has created with Maha. That's exactly what he wanted to do with Maha. And politically, this is a major coup. And Donald Trump knows it. And he told the companies, he goes, look, this is great. This is what we need to do. We've got a serious epidemic in this country. And you caused it. Now you're going to help it.
4 months ago, I created the Presidential Commission to Make America Healthy Again, and today the commission officially delivers its first report on childhood health. Here are just some of the alarming findings, and they really are alarming. It's unbelievable, terrible. More than 40% of American children now have at least one chronic health condition. Since the 1970s, rates of childhood cancer have soared in many cases by nearly 50%, 50%. Well, in the 1960s, less than 5% of the children were obese. Now over 20% are obese. A few decades ago, think of this one. This is, to me, the one that gets me every time, and it seems to be getting worse. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. Today, it's 1 in 31. Last time I heard the number is 1 in 34, right? Now it's 1 in 31. There's something wrong, and we will not stop until we defeat the chronic disease epidemic in America. We're going to get it done. For the first time ever, this report examines some of the root causes that many believe are making our children sicker and our population sicker, I guess. It just doesn't stop with the children. It's our population also, such as the ultra-processed foods, over-medicalization and over-prescription and widespread exposure to potentially toxic chemicals. Unlike other administrations, we will not be silenced or intimidated by the corporate lobbyists or special interests. And I want this group to do what they have to do. We have to spell it out. In some cases, it won't be nice or it won't be pretty, but we have to do it. When you hear 10,000, it was 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 31 for autism. I think that's just a terrible thing. It has to be something on the outside. It has to be artificially induced, has to be. And will not allow our public health system to be captured by the very industries it's supposed to oversee. So we're demanding the answers. The public is demanding the answers, and that's why we're here.
That's exactly what, look at that. Donald Trump gets it. This all goes back to common sense, right? This all goes back to one thing: common friggin' sense. CFS. Common friggin' sense. Years ago, 1 in 10,000 children were diagnosed with autism. Now it's 1 in 31. Clearly, there's a problem. And it's got to be created by some kind of outside source. So we're going to look at it. We're going to look into it. We're going to get some studies. We're going to get some experts. We're going to figure that out because it's not good. You don't want that to happen. That clearly shows that there's some kind of abomination in our food source or in our food system or somewhere else that's causing that. And the Democrats, you know what they did? They came up with ribbons and foundations and they did races and that kind of thing, but they never investigated the food industries. They never stood up to the lobbies. They never stood up to the pharmaceutical lobby and said, are you overprescribing drugs to our kids? They never stood up to the food lobbyists and said, hey, what are these dangerous chemicals you're putting in the food? They ignored the problem. And they would have folks over to the White House. Oh, it's Autism Awareness Month. Great. What are you doing to fix the problem? Absolutely nothing. In fact, Bakhtari, what's his name? Jay Bakhtari. I'm not really good with the longer names. If it's a one syllable name, like, Kaye, that's pretty good. I can even do like two syllables. I can do Tucker Carlson. Even Bongino. I can handle three syllables, but once you get into like Jay Buck anyway, he's the head of the NIH. And he said something which I didn't even realize until he said it. But the children of today will not live as long as we will. And I thought we were unhealthy. Think about this. Think about our generation. I'm like, man, I tell my kids all the time, I go, back in the day, because I lived with my father and he worked at the hospital. He wasn't a doctor, don't get excited, but he worked at the hospital and my school was about 2 blocks away. So every day after school, I would walk to the hospital. He would give me like $1. I'd go down to the hospital cafeteria. I would get a soda, a grape soda. Not healthy at all. Lots of chemicals, lots of dyes, grape soda for 50 cents. I would, with the other 50 cents that I got for change, I would go get a 3-pack of chocolate zingers, it's basically chocolate cake filled with vanilla icing and then chocolate icing on top with lots of preservatives because God knows how long they were sitting in that. And that was it. And as a child, I would go and sit in the hospital library or cafeteria drinking grape soda and eating zingers and doing my homework, which explains a lot about how I turned out. But it explains a lot about it. People are like, man, how do you have such high energy? I go, maybe it was all the high fructose corn syrup that I had as a child. But I thought our generation was unhealthy. But no, apparently this generation's even worse off.
I'm not going to go over the depressing statistics, but I want to highlight one fact that comes out of this report that is ringing sharply in my mind ever since I've read this version, actually even the earlier versions. Our kids, if things go on as we are, will live shorter, less healthy lives than we did. I have 3 children. I don't want that for them. I want them to live longer lives, healthier lives, happier lives than I have. And what this report says in its heart is that that's not happening right now and is not likely to happen unless we change things. The chronic disease crisis, it plays itself out in high rates of obesity, high rates of prediabetes in children, allergies, ADHD, autism, high rates of childhood cancer. What we have is a true crisis.
And it is a true crisis. And President Donald Trump gets it. And RFK Jr. gets it. And everybody else gets it. And you know what the best thing about this is? Donald Trump works in a way politically, again, which I've never seen. I've never seen another president ever. Where this is insane. I've never seen this ever. No other president has used their cabinet the way President Donald Trump does. He picks people. What Donald Trump did was he goes, who are the best people? And he goes, all right, these are the best people I can put in my cabinet. Where can I put them? Where can I put them? It doesn't matter where they go. I just want them in my orbit. He goes, these people are the people that can solve any problem. I need to have them in my cabinet. I need to have them working with me every single day. If I need their help on one project or another project, I want them to work together. Sec, Def, Homeland Security, all of them. They can all, we're a team here. There's no one department. And if you watch this, you can see you've got Health and Human Services sitting right there with RFK Jr. Next to him is Linda McMahon from the Department of Education. She's there because education is important when you're talking about kids and health. Then you've got Brooke Rollins, who's amazing. And you know what Brooke Rollins said? Brooke Rollins said, we're not going to allow SNAP payments to pay for junk food anymore.
The second thing is that you mentioned, sir, in your remarks that we are on track to sign multiples of SNAP waivers to get junk food and sugary drinks out of our food stamp system. And I am so proud.
I mean, that just seems like that's common sense. It's just common sense. How do we make America healthy again? Stop having people eat junk food. How are they getting junk food? Well, when they have SNAP payments and they go to use food stamps, they can buy it. What? That doesn't make any. We're basically, the United States government or the state governments are subsidizing the crisis. And then they're going back to the government and saying, we need money. We need money for healthcare because we've got this health crisis that we're creating because we're allowing people to buy this cheap, nasty food with money that we give them. Common friggin' sense. CFS. I don't know why that's tricky for me to. Yeah, CFS. That's exactly what it is. Hey, listen, before we get to Memorial Day, and I do want to talk a little bit about Memorial Day because, man, the gas prices are the lowest that they've been in years. I did want to mention one more thing about health, and that is that we have a sponsor, Brickhouse Nutrition, and they have really amazing products. I don't know about the Yucca app, but if you Yucca apped any of these, I'm pretty sure they would all come back. They've got Field of Greens superfood. They've got, real organic superfoods, all kinds of different things. Field of Greens lean, which is a lean weight loss, all natural, of course. These are just fantastic products. And if you're looking to make yourself a little bit healthy, if you're looking to make your family healthier, they have, collagen peptides. This is fantastic. Whether you're an elite athlete or just looking to add a little bit of healthy to your diet daily routine, they've got these collagen peptides, which people put in their coffee. And collagen is it's an incredible thing that you can use to make your nails healthier and your hair and your skin glow. It's something you probably aren't getting enough of, but they've got just an incredible amount of all kinds of home products for you, products for your family, products for your kids. And this weekend, they're doing a 25% off everything sale. In fact, let me bring up that QR code again. They gave me a special QR code. Where did I put? Here it is. Does that look like it? Yeah. No, that's not it. Hang on. I had it right here. Hold on. I'll just drag it back in. But this QR code it's really incredible. And what you do is if you go there, it's 25% off. 25% off of everything this weekend for your Memorial Day sale. Oh, that's really big. Let me bring it. I don't know where it disappeared. I had it sized perfectly. Of course. There you go. Scan the QR code on the screen right now, and you can get 25% off everything. You can also use code Memorial25 if you prefer. And I did put a link in the description of this video. This is going on through Memorial Day, which is this weekend. Brickhouse Greens. If you've always wanted to try it, if you've always wanted to get healthier, if you've heard me talk about it before or anyone else talk about it before, then this is a great way. This is a great way for you to start and to do it at a massive discount. 25% off. BrickhouseNutrition.com. All right, so look at this real quick. We got a couple more. Oh, there's D. D writes, my VA lady, virtual assistant service, a $10 super chat. Very generous, D. Thank you. I don't mind spending advertiser dollars. Thanks for the shout out, Mark. Give me a call, 904-372-8832. If you need a social media manager, podcast moderator, podcast audit, quality control is my jam too. I can vouch for that. She's always texting me going, hey, loser, you got to fix this. I mean, she does it in a much more convivial way. But basically, it's like you've got broken links all over the place. You're still telling people your show starts at noon. What gives? Fix that. You're so unprofessional. Thank you, D. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Scott Keller, a $20 super chat. Only a chump didn't vote for Trump. I like that super chat for a couple of reasons. Because number one, I agree with it. Number two, it rhymes. And who doesn't love a rhyming super chat? I mean, that is just truly amazing. Look at this. We got some Rumble rants as well. Thank you very much, Scott Keller, by the way. I appreciate your generosity. Don't forget, every single dime from our super chats, from our Rumble rants, we reinvest right into this program. If you're like, Mark, how is it that you can come on here every single day and spend hours with us talking about the truth and talking about, the propagandists and fighting back against the evils of the left? It's because of you. It's because you guys are here supporting and watching and sharing and growing and throwing money at me. Like Tanya Pop. Tanya Pop on Rumble left a $20 Rumble rant, and she wrote, love, love, love your show. Want to share. Wait. Oh, where did it go? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Love, love, love your show. I want to share my daughter's company. Come on, focus. There we go. People can look her up on Facebook at J. Lee Graphic Designs under pages. Please give her a like. D, remind me later to go to J. Lee Graphics Designers and give her page a like. We appreciate it. My News 61 dropped a $10 Rumble rant, which we appreciate, and wrote, "Thank you, Mark. You saved my mind during COVID lockdown. I also want to thank the Patriots as well, because 2023 I lost the two important men in my life, and the Patriots gave me support and strength." Oh, that is my News 61. We're sad to hear that, but we're glad that the Patriots were there for you. And you know what? And that is really one of the best things is this community. That's why that's one of the best things about being able to do this live stream is the community. And when we were on the radio, yeah, I'm sure there were people out there that were listening and they were similar and they would support each other, but they didn't know. Because when you're listening to the radio, you're sitting in your car. It's like if you're listening to a podcast right now, you may be at the gym and you may not be surrounded by anyone else. You may not be on the chat. You don't know what's going on. Maybe you're listening to us in in your car, driving somewhere and there's no one else around. Just know this though, that while you're listening to the podcast, the live stream is chock full with, like 1,000, 2,000 at least people on all of our platforms. And they are chatting and they are talking and they are helping and they are serving each other and they are commiserating and they are celebrating. And it is something that you don't see anywhere else. And the community here, the community of Patriots is again, one of the reasons why I love doing this and why I hope you guys keep keep coming back as well. But thank you to every single person for your generosity today. I definitely am feeling some Memorial Day love. And like I said, we will put all that money to very good use, reinvesting it in the show so that it won't just look through COVID lockdowns to whatever the next crappy thing that happens to us is. We will be here. I will be here. I promise. I promise. I wanted to share with you a couple of things that popped up. First of all, Scott Adams, I talked about. I've been a fan of Scott Adams for a while. Oh, I think I took his book to the bathroom. All right. Scott Adams, you may know him. Scott Adams is the creator of Dilbert. He's a cartoonist and he's also smart. Two things. He's funny and he's smart. Two things that I'm right there with him. And I'm like, if you're funny and you're smart, we're going to vibe. And he also is creative. He's a capitalist at heart. He's into success. He's got really great ideas. And he has not only been an entertainer and a creative spirit, but he's also been a public speaker and a motivational speaker. And he's written a lot of really fantastic books that aren't just comic strips about, working in a cubicle or an office environment like Dilbert was, but he also that really are truly helpful and motivational and give you common sense strategy to succeed in whatever you want. And so Scott Adams, I've really appreciated his work throughout the years. And recently I've found him on Locals and on Rumble and all the places where I hang out too. So we kind of spin around in the same circles. Well, last week he announced that he has prostate cancer, just like Joe Biden. Joe Biden, we found out last weekend, they made the announcement. He's got prostate cancer. It metastasized to his bones. Apparently they just found out on Friday, which nobody believes. And Scott Adams on his show on Monday said, look, guys, some of you know this already, some of you don't. But I have the same exact diagnosis as Joe Biden. I have the same cancer. I've got prostate cancer. It's metastasized. It's advanced. He said, but my diagnosis is not as good. He said he's in pain. It's difficult for him to move around. And that, the really bad news is that he's not expecting to be around through the end of the year. I think he said late summer, but he's still talking. He's still doing his show. He still seems like he's got a little bit of spring in his step, although I don't know anything other than what I see. But it's just, as an observer and as a fan, it's really tricky. It's really tricky and tough to watch. But yesterday I caught a clip of his show that was making the rounds on the internet because he got a very special phone call from guess who? Guess who reached out and called Scott Adams when you probably already guessed. The most amazing thing about this phone, well, here, I'll play it for you.
So yesterday I'm home and I've been getting lots of people reaching out because of my recent health related news. And, but I can't talk to everybody. Like it's just continual messages coming in and, I have to kind of pace myself. So I see a phone number coming in. Somebody's calling me from some number I don't recognize, something in Florida. And I sent it to voicemail. And a little bit later, I thought, I better check that voicemail and see if that was anything I need to deal with. And the first sentence in the transcription, because the phone gives you the text version of the voicemail as well. The first sentence is, "This is your favorite president." And I thought to myself, no. Did I just send the most important person in the world to voicemail? And it turns out that I had. It was Trump.
Okay, now this is totally relatable to me because, again, just like Scott Adams, if my phone rings, if I don't recognize the number, I ain't answering it. And unless it says President Donald Trump or the White House or Mar-a-Lago or something like that, I too would be sending it to voicemail. I imagine President Donald Trump gets this a lot because he uses his own phone. He doesn't always use, like the old presidents, whenever they made a phone call, they'd tell, their assistant, they'd be like, "Give me so-and-so on the line." And then they'd sit and wait. And then you'd get a call and it would say the White House. And then you'd say, "Please hold for the president." Donald Trump doesn't roll like that. Donald Trump does not have the time to waste. He doesn't have the ego. He's not going to be scared. Donald Trump is not scared to make his own phone call. So he goes, "Give me Scott Adams' number." He goes, boop, boop, boop. And he calls and it gets to voicemail. And this is the best thing about President Donald Trump. He leaves a voicemail. Like, you know how many presidents would be sent to voicemail and go, "Well, I'm not leaving. If they're not going to answer the phone, I'm not going to." Donald Trump goes, "This is your favorite president. I just want," and it's amazing. But here's, that's not even the most amazing thing. So yes, I would 100, and you would too. There's so many. I don't know anybody who would answer the phone if they didn't recognize the number. Let's be honest. Unless you knew it was Donald Trump calling, would you, when some random 954, isn't that West? I think West Palm Beach is 954. Some random 954 number rings on your phone. My mother has a 954 number. I don't even answer it when it comes through. I mean, I know her number, but I'm saying if it doesn't matter. But anyway, I would send it right to voicemail. I'll be like, I'll check it later. And then then you're just like, "Oh my God, I sent the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world. I sent him to voicemail." But wait, there's more to this story.
And he was just calling to check in. Now he left a semi-lengthy little voicemail, just saying he was checking on me, heard about my health situation, and then he says, "You can call me back on this number." Now, obviously, I don't call him back, right? Because that would just be ridiculous.
Okay, now this is where we differ. This is where we're both bald, we're both good looking, we're both intelligent, we both have a lot of common sense, but this is where we differ. And also I like how he goes, he left a rather lengthy message. Well, yeah, that's how you know it's really Donald Trump. Leaves a lengthy message. But he goes, Donald Trump says, "You can call me back on this number." He goes, "Of course I don't do that because that would be ridiculous." I'd be like, "Oh, hell no, I am 100% calling him back." I'd be like, redial, and be just sitting there waiting to see what happens. But Scott Adams, I guess out of respect or whatever, said, "I'm not going to call." I mean, he could be talking to Putin. He could be negotiating some kind of ceasefire deal or a prisoner swap. There was a massive prisoner swap. Donald Trump announced it this morning. Massive prisoner swap between Ukraine and Russia, which seems like a positive step toward a ceasefire and the end of the war in Ukraine. That seems like something you maybe don't want to interrupt, is what Scott Adams is thinking. He's also negotiating with Tehran. There was a horrible terrorist attack in Washington, D.C. 2 Israeli ambassadors, an Israeli ambassador and his young girlfriend, soon to be his fiance, gunned down, murdered by a Hamas terrorist, yelling, "Free Palestine, free, free Palestine." All while Donald Trump is trying to keep Israel from bombing the nuclear power facilities in Iran so that they can broker some kind of diplomatic peace agreement. He's got a lot going on. So Scott Adams was like, "Look, obviously I'm not going to call him back." But guess what happens then?
It just was a nice thing for him to say because he called me. "You could call me back on this number." So I didn't call him back on that number because I thought it's not like he's sitting at the Resolute desk waiting for my call. I thought that whatever it is he's doing has got to be more important, than randomly taking a call from me. So I don't call him back. Hours go by. It's the afternoon, same day. It's the afternoon. And all of a sudden another call comes through, also from Florida. And I thought to myself, there's no way he's calling me again. And I answer it, and it's Trump. And apparently he'd heard of my situation, and he had lots of questions. I won't get into the details of our conversation because that would be inappropriate. But he was just checking on me. And he had, he wanted to make sure that I was getting everything I needed. And that was it. But at the end, the strangest thing happened at the end. At the end of the call, when he found out, the situation was kind of dire, and I was still checking out some things that might help. He said, "If you need anything, I'll make it happen." And he meant it. He was completely aware of our, let's say, parallel journeys from 2015. He mentioned it. And it was just the most incredible, weird, hard to understand situation. But boy, was it fun. So anyway, that's my story.
I mean,
and I'm sticking to it.
What a great, I mean, again, and totally believe that is the kind of story that it's so believable. You hear this story over and over and over again. You hear the story over and over again about Donald Trump and the amazing things that he does. Donald Trump taking the time to reach out to people. Donald Trump, okay, is in his second term. He's trying to do basically everything he can to save the world before he leaves office. And he takes the time to call Scott Adams, not once, but twice. Calls him, leaves a message. Later in the day goes, oh, I got to call him back because he didn't answer. So calls him back, gets him on the phone, talks to him and says, hey, if there's anything at all you need, I'll make it happen. And that is that is exactly what he is. And it's believable because he's always been like that. And if you don't believe me, there was a story on Newsmax the other day of a woman, Rob Schmidt, I think. He found this woman. They played the story. I want to play you this because this is another incredible. I don't know how we got into incredible stories of Donald Trump, but you can blame Scott Adams. Here he is. Listen to this. This is a woman that talked about how Donald Trump literally saved her life.
Trump saved my life, literally. My dad and my mom passed at the same time. I was in a bad place. I was going towards the Brooklyn Bridge. Don't ask me why, but I was. Donald Trump was standing on 97th Street in Broadway. He was at a friend's birthday party. And when he saw me coming past, I was hysterical in tears. And he gently grabbed my arm. He was like, whoa, wait a minute, are you okay? And he said, well, I don't know what you're gonna do right now, but whatever it is, forget about it. Take it out of your head. Your mom and dad wouldn't want that. And he talked to me till I forgot all about what I was gonna do. So he said, let me pray for you. So when I went to get my keys out of my pocket, and I opened my hand, he had placed a folded up, real small, folded up $100 bill in my hand. Wow. I framed it, literally, and this is a true story. He saved my life. Yeah, he did. So anybody that has anything bad to say about Trump, did it, because he's a good man.
I mean, there's countless stories. The empirical evidence far outweighs the circumstantial evidence. And whenever you hear something bad about the president, whenever you hear something bad about from the Democrats about what a horrible person he is, just know that Scott Adams and this woman in New York City, and I mean, really, like everybody else, he is that kind of guy. And that is exactly why we know that the country's in the right hands, and why we know that going forward, we're going to be okay. And also, he's lowering gas prices.
Meanwhile, some good news for your wallet. This Memorial Day weekend, we're looking at the cheapest gas prices since 2021. That's according to a new report from Gas Buddy. It's forecasting the national average for gasoline will be $3.08 per gallon. That's down 50 cents from last year. Gas Buddy says that's thanks to lower crude oil costs and a production increase from OPEC Plus, a group of the world's largest oil exporting countries.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day, cheap gas.
Going to be the cheapest Memorial Day since 2021. But if you adjust for inflation and rising wages, Americans are actually going to spend the least amount filling up this Memorial Day since 2003, excluding COVID.
That is what the real key is there to when you adjust for inflation. Where am I?
Going to be the cheapest.
There I am. When you adjust for inflation, when you adjust for wages, it's even cheaper than you thought. Promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump said he would bring gas prices down. He's bringing gas prices down. Donald Trump said he would bring the price of eggs down. He's bringing the price of eggs down. Donald Trump said he would deport the biggest, the most massive deportation effort in American history. It's the biggest, most massive deportation effort in history, even with the judges trampling all over it. Donald Trump said he was going to secure the border, and border crossings are down 99.9%. Donald Trump said he was going to boost the military. He got rid of the woke. He got rid of the DEI. The Secretary of Defense is praying with people. Not preying on people, praying with people. And on top of all of that, we've already met 100% or more of our enlistment and recruitment efforts for the year in every branch of the military. Donald Trump said he would bring peace to Ukraine. He's working on it. Peace to the Middle East. He's working on that. Donald Trump is bringing in massive investments. And then on top of all of that, he's making America healthy again. And he's doing it in a bipartisan way. It's really an amazing time that we live in. And I know that there's a lot of haters out there. I know there's a lot of people talking smack. I know there's a lot of people saying the stock market this and the 401k that and the blah, 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 blah. But it's all a process. Don't you remember during Bidenomics when Joe Biden, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Yeah, we're building back better. All that. None of that happened. That was all a lie. What we're seeing with here's the thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump immediately will say he's going to do something. If it doesn't happen in a week or two, people start to get angry. He starts to talk about something else, and then all of a sudden you blink, and that first thing he talked about was done. And they have to stop being angry about that. So they'll be angry about the next thing over and over and over again. They're angry about this Qatari jet. Just wait. Just wait till the next thing. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump's going to be flying around in a big, beautiful jet. It says Air Force One on the side. I mean, I know it doesn't say Air Force One on the side. It just says the United States of America. But man, I can't wait. Listen, I've never gotten a phone call from President Donald Trump. I hope if I ever do, it's not for the reason that Scott Adams got his, but I know now to be looking out for those Florida numbers and answering the phone when they happen. I've never flown on Air Force One, but man, if I got a call from President Donald Trump and he said, would you like to come and fly on the brand new Air Force One, courtesy of Qatar, I think that I would jump at there would be nothing that would stop me from saying yes, because it's really just, it's a remarkable time that we live in. You're never going to see anything like it again, because I'm going to be honest with you. There's no other president in my lifetime, and I'm half a century old, no president in my lifetime that I would rather have a miniature Bluetooth speaker made in the shape of than President Donald Trump. If I'm going to be listening to tunes on a miniature Bluetooth speaker, I want that miniature Bluetooth speaker to look like President Donald Trump, not Barack Obama, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden, the only thing you'd be able to get are like ragtime tunes. You know, Joe Biden, it all sound like one of those old record players from the 20s, you know, with like a silent movie. That's all you'd get. Anyway, listen, I hope everybody has a don't forget, if you have not yet subscribed to our marketing channel on YouTube, you're going to want to do that, because it's been growing rapidly. And yesterday I posted all those videos. I don't know if I talked about this with you guys, but we have a fill-in host coming up for the 47 Daily. I'm headed out of town for a week, and I didn't want the content to stop flowing. So my buddy Jeff is going to be taking over for a week. And look, I made these videos. I made an entire playlist for Jeff, and it's basically my entire workflow, and I posted them up on YouTube. So if you want to see my entire workflow for how I create in fact, here it is. If you want to see my entire workflow for how I create my daily 47 Daily podcast, collecting audio and planning, organizing the clips and preparing the scenes, preparing the images, recording the podcast. You can watch me do the whole thing live, editing and uploading the audio, speaking. I mean, it's all right there. I put these are all videos that I created internally to train Jeff to make my podcast for me while I'm gone. And my wife said, put them up on YouTube, because I guarantee there's other people that would want to see them. And she's always right. So I put them up on YouTube, and guess what? There's other people. So I got 130 views already. So 130 people so far since yesterday have already wanted to learn how I do that. Mark Kaye Marketing. There's a link in the description of this video. You can go and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting more videos up here. You can watch the whole thing. You can get them as they're coming out. And this is me taking you behind the scenes of Katriot Media. This is me bringing you not just in front of the camera at Katriot HQ, but behind the camera. What happens to make all of this possible? How do we market? How do we plan? How do we shoot? How do we edit? How do we grow? It's all right here. And if that's something that interests you, if you've got a business or if you've got something that you want to do, then by all means, go click on the link and make sure that you are doing that. All right, I got one more. Sorry, before I go, because I promised I would read your shout outs. Izzy'sman dropped us a $20 Rumble rant. Izzy'sman, thank you so much. That is super generous. And it says, let me go back here so we can all see it. And it says, hold on, I got to click one more button. There we go. It says Izzyman with a $20 Rumble rant right before Memorial Day that says, love your show, have been with your show for quite some time. Thank you for all you do. Thank you guys for all you do. Thank you for coming back. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share. Make that one of your goals in life, to spread the wealth. You know, we always, when we hear good news, when we hear bad news, we always want to tell it, right? You hear bad news, you want to text somebody, you go, you're not going to believe what Sharon did. What? Did you hear about the Johnsons? No. What's going on with the Johnsons? All that kind of stuff. No, spread the good news. Take this podcast link, take this YouTube video, take your favorite video from my channel, send it to somebody. Let somebody know what's going on. Put it out there. Tell somebody, hey, I don't know if you know who Mark Kaye is, but I think you would really enjoy him. Hey, I don't know if you know who Mark Kaye is, but this cat knows what's up. If you're looking for truth every single day, this guy's sitting there and he's got the microphone and he's got the stuff and he's telling it like it is. And if you're confused about something, if you want to know why something's good or bad, listen to this guy. Spread the word. If you can just send it to like 2 or 3 people every single day, the podcast, the YouTube, I don't care. We're trying to grow our Patriot Network every single day because we got a big tent, we got to fill it. But most importantly, we're continually at war. We're continually at war with socialism and socialist ideas, lunatics on the left who hate the Constitution and our country, who are trying to thwart us and stop us. We have even people in our own party that are trying to do that. And it's a constant battle. It's never ending. We need to grow our numbers. Number 1, we need to grow our numbers. And number 2, we need to make sure that we're coming together every single day to stay informed, to stay prepared, to stay inspired. Because this fight's going to go on. We will, for the rest of our lives, have to fight so that we can save the Republic. Have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, we will be here Monday. Monday morning, there'll be a 47 Daily. Monday afternoon, there'll be Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. In the meantime, if you want to go check out our marketing channel, I would definitely urge you to do it because we have so many people that learn so much. And it's one of my passions. You know, I do this for a couple of reasons. I love politics, but I also love social media and social media marketing. And if there's any way I can help you, let me know. If there's a particular question you have, drop it in the comments of one of the videos. I'll see it. And maybe I'll make a future video just for you. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you.